Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, Text 45. Om Sangatim Rigayatam Miha Yoga Margair Dhyanaspādam Bahumatam Nayana Viramam Pamsam Vapur Darshayanam Darshayanam Ananyasidair Autpattikai Samagrinan Yutamashta Bogai. Translation. This is the form of the Lord which is meditated upon by the followers of the yoga process, and it is pleasing to the yogis in meditation. It is not imaginary but is factual, as proved by great yogis. The Lord is full of in 8 kinds of achievement, but for others these achievements are not possible in full perfection. Purport. Can you put the light a little stronger? Yeah, okay. So we are reading purport. It's very long. No, this not to the center. No, this is enough for this. It's very strange. So this is a very long purport, and we are reading it paragraph by paragraph. And yesterday, Anadi Krishna Prabhu read second paragraph, and now we have this third. Yeah. 5,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, Lord Krishna recommended yoga practice to Arjuna, but Arjuna frankly expressed his inability to follow the stringent rules and regulations of the yoga system. One should be very practical in every field of activities and should not waste his valuable time in practicing useless gymnastic feats in the name of yoga. Real yoga is to search out the four-handed supersoul within one's heart and see him perpetually in meditation. Such continued meditation is called samadhi, and the object of this meditation is the four-handed Narayan with bodily decorations as described in this chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. If, however, one wants to meditate upon something void or impersonal, it will take a very long time before he achieves success in yoga practice. We cannot concentrate our mind on something void or impersonal. Real yoga is to fix the mind on the form of the Lord, the four-handed Narayan, who is sitting in everyone's heart. This is one of the longest purports in the whole Bhagavatam. And if you are coughing, that means one of the chakras is blocked. So, Arjuna said, this is impossible to practice. This kind of yoga. In the 6th chapter we have this conversation about yoga, dhyana yoga or meditational yoga. And Arjuna said this is impossible. It's more difficult to control the mind than to stop the wind with your hands. So stopping the wind with your hands is impossible. And more difficult than impossible is double impossible. But, there is but in this verse, in the Gita. Krishna admits, yes, it's very difficult to control the mind. And Krishna says, but, and this but is our hope. Krishna says, it's possible by constant practice and detachment. So, this is one of the secrets of success, is constant practice. The first several years in Krishna consciousness, we have a tendency to ask a question, how can we achieve, how can we make advancement, how can we get purified, how can we get free from anarthas, how can we stop making offenses? And what is the answer? You tell me.
Constant practice.
That's...
And detachment.
And detachment. Okay, so... Krishna gives the answer. Constant practice. That means every day. John. There is one amazingly encouraging purport in the first canto of the Bhagavatam, where Srila Prabhupada speaks about the accumulation of service. When you serve continuously for a long time, then your spiritual credits grow. And you might have a breakthrough at one point and start to feel more free from the influence of the material energy. So if you want to be known as a real yogi, then you have to be free from the influence of the material energy. There are so many people who practice yoga, but they are not free from the influence of material energy. They are conditioned. They are conditioned by lower modes of nature. They are conditioned by lower qualities. And nowadays there are so many yoga schools and the number is growing daily. But people don't know the real purpose of yoga. And we have phenomena in ISKCON where we have a lot of yoga teachers, devotees, and they are trying to Krishnaize their Hatha Yoga classes by introducing chanting like Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya or Radhe Shyam or Govinda Jaya Jaya. They avoid Mahamantra. Sometimes they also chant Mahamantra if people are favorable and people are not so envious. And I spoke to one yoga teacher, devotee in Italy, and she wanted to have a strategy how to bring people to bhakti. She helps them to have space to explore their body, their mind, their thoughts, their feelings. But she said, I want to bring them closer to bhakti, and I want to explain to them that the bhakti is the goal of yoga. So first the body, make the body healthier and more comfortable. And then the mind, work with the mind to control the mind. And then try to feel your soul and to engage on the spiritual platform. So devotee is not satisfied just to teach yoga for some health, but he wants to bring people to bhakti. So this whole purport speaks about yoga and the purpose of yoga, and I mentioned 2 days ago that Krishna Kshetra Maharaj is writing a book. Actually, he gave a seminar in maybe several places around Europe, and this seminar was transcribed and it will be turned into a book about first two letters of yoga, yama and niyama. So he based his seminar a lot on Patanjali Yoga Sutras, and he was posing this question: is there bhakti in Patanjali Yoga Sutras? And yama and niyama each have 5 stages, which I don't know, I can't explain. But in one of the in niyama, I think in one of the stages there is this clear indication that there is bhakti in the yoga system. So Srila Prabhupada used to challenge people who say that they practice yoga, they are into yoga. He said, what is the purpose of yoga? What will you meditate on? And he has given a clear understanding that yoga is very personal. Yoga means to link. Yoga means link or connection. And interestingly, the word religion also means to reconnect. Satyaraj Prabhu was explaining religare, it means to reconnect. So basically the meaning is the same. And the purpose of religion is to connect people to God. Now we see here yoga means meditating on the form of the Lord. And for us also, yoga means meditating on the service. Meditating on the service is not different from meditating on the form of the Lord, or on the qualities of the Lord, on the pastimes of the Lord, and on the holy name of the Lord, Nama Rupa Guna Lila. So we like to meditate on the service of the Lord, and we like to meditate on the service to devotees also. This is also transcendental, it's also yoga. So you may be practicing yoga for so many years and still fight with 6 highway robbers, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya, and Moha, lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, and envy. And that means that the practice of yoga was not very successful. Because if somebody is practicing yoga seriously and sincerely, then he gets free from these bad qualities. And they don't torture him, and they don't torture others through him also. Now, in our Srimad Bhagavatam, we have the story of Prahlad Maharaj, and verses that describe Prahlad Maharaj speak about yogis going to Himalayas to meditate for their own liberation, for their own upliftment. But Bhagavatam says this is not the highest level of consciousness and yoga, that we don't want only our own liberation. So therefore, he says that bhakti yogis go to very to the places which are full of people, like big cities, and live there in inconvenient circumstances, and so that they can deliver the message of Krishna consciousness. So now you have probably heard a lot of stories of book distribution. You are distributing books, you Prabhupada's books. It's a wonderful, valuable service. And sometimes book distributors speak about going out to meet the super soul in people's hearts, who will inspire people to take the book. So this is even higher yoga. That you go and try to meet the super soul on the street. Sri Rohini Sutta Prabhu used to say, he used to come to Yugoslavia and preach to us and inspire us for book distribution. And he used to say that after the morning program, Krishna is not anymore on the altar, but he goes on the street. If you want to find him, you have to go there. And so devotees were reporting that how people turn around their so beautiful, almost romantic. That devotees were reporting when they try to distribute books, you know, most people will, first reaction would be no. But yesterday, Prabhupada Prabhu was explaining, I was asking him about British manners, and then he said some, I don't want to repeat different things, but then he gave an example of a very aristocratic lady. He was telling her how he's a monk. At that time he was younger. He was a monk and he was getting up early and living this strict life and meditating in the morning. And she said, oh, this is so wonderful. You are getting up in the morning. You are young. You have given up all enjoyment. That's really amazing. But no, thank you. So he was explaining that how cynical maybe people are, or some people in England. I know people in England, not everybody's like this. Used to live there. And so you meet people who are very nice, but they don't take a book, and you meet people who say no, and then they, after some time, they take a book, or take more books, or take a set. Somebody is there at the door.
I'm listening, sir.
But you can come in.
And we need to go.
So you want to stay and also go.
Yeah, stay there and coming. I want to listen.
You can tell them to call you when they are starting.
Can I let the door open?
You sit here. You can leave the door open as nobody's talking in the corridor. I don't mind.
That's okay. I will go. Thank you.
Okay. So you go out and become curious. Become curious how Krishna will turn around this no into yes. Because when people see you, maybe they are skeptical, maybe they are scared. They see you with shaved head, or maybe, I don't know if you distribute in Dhoti, but they may be scared, they see tilak. Or they may think, oh, he's a nice person, but I don't need this. Sometimes they want to give you money, but don't want to take the book. This is so frustrating. They like you, and they say, okay, you're a good boy, here's some donation. But I don't need the book, you know. But you really want to give them the books, because you know that the mercy is there, and this is, they got Prabhupada's Association, Srila Prabhupada's Association. And they don't want to take the book. But you can at least take their address and try to give them a book later, or invite them to the temple and feed them, and after they are satisfied with prasadam, maybe they will take a book. So, but book distribution can be actually this curious encounter with the super soul in people's hearts. You become curious how Krishna will turn around this no into yes, or some kind of yes. Maybe not immediately, or maybe not yes for the book, but yes for something. And nowadays, can you tell me, do you also distribute cookies with the books, or not?
No, we are separate.
Are separate?
And we go either on prasadam distribution or either book distribution. We normally don't mix those two.
You don't mix. Oh, okay.
But some do actually.
And some mix it.
Some they have both.
Prasadam, Mishra, Sankirtan.
In case they don't like books and don't read, so they have prasadam.
Okay. So you distribute the Damodar Prasadam.
Yes.
You should say yes. So we want to give them something. We want to leave something in their hands. It may be a leaflet. It may be an invitation card. It may be a prasadam and the book, or all of this. Prabhupada said, I didn't come to take something, I came to give. So we also follow, as he's trying to be his instruments, and to give as much as we can to people different things. And later when they start practicing, we want to give them encouragement, support, guidance, because they need that. In Switzerland, you know, it's a very glorious country, so many books are distributed. You had world champions in book distribution here. My God brothers, or most of them were my God brothers. And people have books at home, and suicide rate in Switzerland is very high. It's the highest in Europe. Yesterday Prabhupada was speaking, Prabhupada was speaking that it's the highest in Europe, or maybe in the world, one of the highest. So Switzerland is an affluent country. It means that materially strong, and that people are unhappy. Then he also said, he was asking people, what would you like for Christmas? And they would say nothing. Many people would say nothing. Or actually he said, everybody said nothing. I have everything. And they are not happy. So many people dream of Switzerland, especially of Swiss banks. Some dream of Swiss chocolate, and some dream of Swiss cheese, and some dream of Swiss watch, and some dream to become Roger Federer, but people are not happy. And people even have books at home, so they need your association to guide them to read the books, to understand the books, and to apply the books, and to be happy. And you're here now, there is maybe about 10 devotees here. You're here now, you have joined, maybe some of you joined recently, and but most probably this is not your first attempt to become a devotee, or to be a devotee, or to serve. Most probably you have tried many lifetimes and you didn't finish. So now we have a chance to finish in this lifetime, to attain perfection through this Sankirtan movement, which is so merciful. It gives an opportunity to engage in a powerful mission. So we are conditioned souls. We are full of weaknesses or anarthas, but Krishna is engaging us as if we are great saints. He is engaging us as if we are His representatives. He is giving us a chance to be His representatives and to approach people to give them Krishna in some form. And by acting as such a representative, actually, we become purified. So who is doing these things that you are given service to do? It's Narada Muni, traveling around, meeting people, preaching to them, delivering different people, delivering even people who don't want to be delivered. So you have we have this opportunity to act as a saintly person, as a preacher, as a prophet, as a representative of God, and to give people Krishna. And the more you give Krishna, the more you get Krishna. Now there is one unfortunate thing, that we distribute Krishna consciousness to others, but we don't take it enough ourselves. For example, you distribute books, but you don't have time to read them. And then you forget, you start to think, oh, this is good business. Then you see money, you think, well, I can make money maybe some other way also. The Prabhupada said, if we don't hear, then we forget. And it becomes like karma. So, you probably sometimes struggle to read, to stay awake while reading. You try to read, but because you went up early, you fall asleep. Maybe you had a very strong breakfast and you cannot digest, and you feel sleepy because of too much food in the stomach. And you like to read, but you don't understand, it's too philosophical sometimes. And you think, I will take rest. Then I will wake up and then enthusiastically I'm going to read. Then when you wake up, oh, it's already late, you have to go out. Or service is waiting in the kitchen, or whenever we have service. And then you miss reading. And sometimes devotees say, I'm just going to read. Then they try to read for hours and don't do any service, don't even chant. That's another extreme, but this also doesn't work. This also doesn't work. Also, after some time, they maybe become very knowledgeable, but there is not so much taste, and they don't engage in the mission. They don't get the mercy. Yes, spiritual knowledge is mercy, reading is mercy, but we need to also combine this with chanting and with practical devotional service. So this is our yoga, and this is how we feel the Super Soul, how we see the Super Soul. It is said you can see Krishna on the pages of the Bhagavatam, and Srila Prabhupada has given us Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of devotion, the yoga of devotional service. And there is 9 processes, and first 7 is for us. Last 2 are very high, becoming friends with Krishna and surrendering everything. Atma Nivedanam, we will take some time to come to that level. But for first 7 we can practice. And in this way, our yoga practice can be very powerful. And now, for example, I was actually editing the book of Krishna Chaitra Maharaj, this first editing, it's very raw. And I was wondering, why did he write this? Why does he want to write this book? We are not into yoga. Yama, niyama, why this is important for us. And then he said that there is so many yoga societies, there is so many yoga people, and there is devotees are interacting with them. There is kirtan yoga, and devotees actually mix with these people a lot. So if we know this Patanjali system well, and they also studied, some of them really studied, then we can have a informed discussion with them, and also inspire them to understand that there is bhakti in yoga. There is bhakti. and to try to inspire them to look for bhakti in yoga. Not look for health only in yoga or wealth. Some people also look for wealth. Like material welfare, we want good health, we want good money. So sometimes devotees become yoga teachers and they also maintain themselves by this because they can charge for the courses, teacher training, yoga teacher training course, for yoga classes. And it can be a good bridge. It can be a good bridge for people. But we don't want to keep them on the platform of Ashtanga Yoga. But we want them to come to Bhakti Yoga. And many devotees, Krishna is their teaching of yoga, and some of the students become devotees. Some of the students become devotees. So now we have read 3 paragraphs of the purport, and the next one is the 4th paragraph, which is also quite long. I mean, it's just a paragraph. But there is probably for another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 classes. I think we can read this purport of this one verse. And this chapter is called Description of the Kingdom of God. So sometimes people ask, can you tell me how is it in the spiritual world? You are mentioning spiritual world. And you can read in this chapter. They can read and then they can ask you questions. It's chapter 15 of the 3rd canto. So in this way we have a very complete knowledge in the Bhagavatam about yoga and the purpose of yoga, and of course about many other subject matters. And it's really amazing what Srila Prabhupada has done. And now we have a facility online. It's called Vanipedia. It's encyclopedia, online encyclopedia of Srila Prabhupada's teachings. It celebrated 10 years of service recently, and about 500 devotees contributed to developing Vanipedia. So how many of you are familiar with Vanipedia? How many of you know how to search it? How to search?
What to search?
Vanipedia. Do you know how to find categories?
No.
Okay. So I can show you this because there is 14,000 categories. So practically any topic that Prabhupada spoke about more, I mean, like to a certain extent, it's there, and the quotes are compiled. And if you want to study any topic, I will tell you now, I think you can understand. In Google, you type something. For example, you can type devotion, and then space, and type Vani quotes, one word, Vani quotes, and you will get the category on devotion. The first link will be devotion, category devotion from Vanipedia. And then you have hundreds of quotes about devotion. You have also sorted from books, from letters, from conversations, from lectures. So there is a facility for topical study, and I highly recommend this, because then you can learn one topic very well, and something that helps you, and something that you can teach others. And if you become inspired by Srila Prabhupada's words, it will be easier for you to convince others and to recommend to others to read, to take the books, and to benefit from this. We can nurture our heart and our success with Vani. I'm not sure how will be my program here while I'm here, but I might give a seminar with that title. I'm preparing this seminar for Czech Republic, agreeing with one senior devotee there, and maybe we will do it here also. Maybe not in December, maybe in January. But people think that money is the honey, and we think that money is the honey. But we don't take enough advantage of money because we don't associate enough with money. And this is a wonderful way to associate with Srila Prabhupada, to learn his instructions and to follow and to teach others. And these devotees who do Vani Seva, they are very lucky. Vanipedia presents Srila Prabhupada in an amazing way. If you go to vanipedia.org, at the top it says, what's in Vanipedia now? When you open this, you can see what is in there and what they have done. And you can click on, these are all links. This is a list, but these are all links. And you can see. So when you see online what is there, then you will also become aware what you are holding in your hands when you go on the street and what you are giving to people. This is such a treasure. So thank you very much for your valuable service, book distribution, and also other services that help book distribution. But I believe that we are not aware how lucky we are, how fortunate we are that we have this Vani in our hands. Before devotees we are discussing, okay, how much we should charge for the book. And some devotees say, well, people cannot pay. This is like molten gold, one book worth it, and like 10 times or something, 100 times. So when we become aware of the value of money, then when people meet us, they will see, wow, he or she is so convinced. I have to check it out. How they are so convinced. Then they try to read, they don't understand it, then they come back to you. Then you tell them, well, you need also to chant, you need time to understand. I also didn't understand in the beginning. I understood something and it attracted me. But then, as I was reading more and more and practicing, I understood more and I see that, oh my God, there is so much to understand, so much more to understand, and to realize, to assimilate. And when we become attached to money, then we can share it. In this way, our life is taking and giving, taking and giving, taking and giving. And then this is reciprocation, this is loving exchange, and then life becomes sublime. Thank you very much for listening. Do you have any questions? No questions. Just the last thing I want to mention, that if you find yourself looking at the book, trying to read, you want to translate?
Okay. I'm too absorbed.
And then you heard that this is nectar, but somehow we are not tasting nectar. We fall asleep. So we need to do something about it. And maybe pray to Prabhupada and pray to other devotees who have a great taste for reading. I want to suggest to you a way how to read. Look for something that really inspires you and then save it, copy it, write it in your notebook or save it in the file, and have a collection of things that inspire you from the scriptures. This is one way you can read. There is many other ways, but this is one way that I recommend for now. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Maharaj ki jai. Thank you, Hare Krishna.